Welcome inside of this special edition of the BRSN Insider. Josh Pound now joined by women's soccer coach Lincoln Roblee. And coach, we're in a medium here that all of us have become all too familiar with over the course of the last several months, and sitting here in a Zoom to conduct interviews that we used to be able to do side by side or face to face, but in an effort to kind of show everybody that we're doing our part to keep things from potentially spreading, or doing our part to mitigate things. Dakota and I thought it would be best to kind of conduct these interviews throughout the course of this academic year right here on Zoom, so that everybody is safe and comfortable in their own environment. We're not worrying about people that may perceive us to be too close or doing things that we shouldn't do. So first of all, Coach, thanks for taking the time. Obviously, looking at your background, right now behind you, you're not sitting in a familiar place because we're dealing with some construction on the Casey Center, but how have things gone for you, and how have you been settling in so far here this semester?
Despite the differences that we've had, the team, I think, is really doing well. I mean, obviously there's some obstacles. You mentioned the John Casey Soccer Center having construction. So one of the things that we try to do to combat the virus is obviously social distancing, what have you. So our locker room, we're not using. So if there's any time to be doing construction on the soccer center where our team locker room is, now's the time to do it. Unfortunately, that also affects my office. So I'm here in the Mother Teresa Center, where I'm temporarily officing. But if anybody wants to get their hamstring worked on, we can probably do that here. But I think the team's doing really well. Everyone seems to be in really good spirits. And despite it being a different preseason, we normally have 2-a-days. We usually have a lot of games by now. Our preseason right now is consisting of no locker room, no preseason games, and instead of 100 degrees on the turf, it's 53 degrees outside. And we haven't played our first game yet. Very bizarre. So, but we're all doing well.
Well, one of the positives, I guess, to look at as we try to find some positives throughout all of the craziness that's going on with the pandemic was we knew coming in the NEI was going to change when we could potentially have the start of our competition season. So that allowed for a much longer preseason than anyone who's on our staff right now, including Coach Wilcox, has ever had the opportunity to have. Usually it's you may get the varsity group together for about 2 weeks to 10 days maybe, and then freshmen, any potential freshmen that are playing, literally could be playing 2 or 3 days after they come to campus for the first time in the fall. So just talk about how that's been a little bit different. You're probably getting a little, it's becoming a little old hat to have so much time, but it's probably also been a blessing as well, because now you've had to balance academics and things like that you never have had to do before as well.
Yes. It's very different this year in that I believe that we started, when we got the entire squad on campus, I think we started school 2 days later. So immediately we're adjusting to the schedule of the students' academics immediately. And, I love practice. I love training. I could practice for months before we play a first game. But I'm glad that we've got a game coming around the corner, and it's given us some time to look at different players, different spots. Our training's a little different. We haven't been able to get everybody together because of they wanted to reduce the number of people that can be together at practice. So that's made things very different. The numbers that we are practicing with when we are training is much smaller than what we've done in the past. So that's a little bit different, but we're just adjusting to it and making the most of it. And I think we've done some really good things.
Well, and luckily, soccer is a sport where ideally you want to get, 2 teams out there in a scrimmage scenario, but you can get quite a bit done individually and in small groups that some sports may not be able to. So that also maybe affords you the opportunity to spend more time working with some of your individual players that you might not get when you have a full squad.
Yeah, no, there are definitely some positives to it. There's some times where it almost might seem like a spring practice where usually the senior class is gone. We have smaller numbers usually here at Benedictine. We have 3 or 4 people that are staying abroad in Italy or something, and we can focus in on maybe do some drills that are very specific to a very few players. We can kind of do that a little bit more when we have not as many people. But it's been a really good preseason. It's great. Love the team. Just fantastic people to be around. So looking forward to when we all get to put the actual uniform on. And, Josh, usually you're taking photos of everybody. Like we have a big media day, and now we've kind of spliced it up a little bit.
Yep.
So we haven't had our team picture yet, Josh.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out at some point.
We got to figure that out. We got to get that worked out. I love team pictures.
Well, then obviously one of the restrictions that the NAIA placed on us was they reduced the number of potential matches you could play. And we were comfortable with the schedule that had a build up to conference play. And then for one reason or another, some of those non-conference games went by the wayside for various reasons, either be conference policies, campus policies, individual schools deciding that they just wanted to limit their contact. So unfortunately, that means the first game of the year comes against Central Methodist. Just talk about a little bit about the conference and what you foresee. Obviously you guys in Central Methodist have kind of been going back and forth with each other for the last couple of years.
Right.
You can throw Baker into that mix some years, MNU into that mix some years.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the conference is going to look like what it's looked like in the past, or do you feel like there might be somebody within the conference ranks that could surprise people this year?
Here's the thing with our conference. It seems like we just get more and more depth every year. So everyone that may have been, let's say 6th or 7th or 8th the previous year seems to have improved. So maybe they're still 6th, 7th, and 8th, but boy, that's a really challenging game. We've been we've won a lot of regular season and conference tournaments, et cetera. And we always seem to have really tough games against someone who's doesn't even make the conference tournament just because of the quality and depth. So I think in years past, Central Methodist and Mid-American Nazarene and Missouri Valley and Baker, they're all good teams. Evangel's been really good in coming on. And I know that we have great games with Culver Stockton, Clark, and so many teams that are good. But, one team we've added to the conference is Park. And Park's always a very good team that we always used to play all the time. They're not too far away from us. We haven't played in the last couple of years, but they're a regular team that makes the national tournament from their previous conference. So we've just added another strong team to the conference. But it's going to be great playing a quality team like Central Methodist to start the season. And Josh, you know this, and for all of our fans and alums or what have you, we've almost I think this is what NASCAR does. They have like their big race at the very beginning, but we've had very first game of the year almost immediately. Spring Arbor came in 2015 to start the season. Westmont came in to kick off the season in 2016 and 2017. Last year we had Southeastern of Florida actually came into the second game of the year, but it was just 2 days after our first game. So all of those teams were, top 5 teams in the country that we started the season off with. And Central Methodist is a really good team. So I think when you draw it up, you don't always go, let's just start off with this. But it's something that we've actually have a history of doing. So all of the veterans, it shouldn't be too crazy.
Well, now that we've talked about the conference, we can kind of zero in on your program a little bit. Big senior class graduated and gone off to bigger and better things as alum, but you still have a strong core of players coming back, and then a very big freshman class. Probably, I think it's safe to say the biggest freshman class since you've been here. Just talk about how maybe 2 or 3 girls or however many that you're looking to maybe step into some bigger roles for you this year, or some players that you're going to be leaning on for that veteran leadership.
Sure. Well, it starts with our senior class. We have 4 captains, Ellen Bedell, Ashley Rehagen, Emma Strecker, and Natalie Duke. They've been with us for multiple championships. They were, with us when we played for the national championship when they were freshmen in 2017. They've been fantastic in helping out, especially with our current system, with what we've got set up. We actually have them even play a bigger role in smaller groups. And they're just great. But, we got a lot of other people, juniors, Olivia Berry. We've got sophomore Nicole Patterson, sophomore Maddie Stewart, junior Gracie Eckert looks to play an even bigger role this year. And just a lot of people that, we had one person who redshirted last year who didn't play, who's a sophomore, but technically she's a redshirt freshman, Riley Degner. So there's a number of people that will play a bigger role in the field this year, and some people who weren't even seen at all who are veterans. But those people, along with a big freshman class, are really going to make up a really good team. Super excited about it. We've got some freshmen that have done really well in preseason. Annie Hogue, Paulina Carles, Sam Musbaugh, Rachel Beffa, just a lot of people who are doing really well. So I see this team having outstanding leadership at the top and great talent throughout all the classes that are really going to make an impact. And one of those people from the senior class who graduated, that are fast and furious, has returned to be grad assistant. Isabel Wilhelm, Izzy, is going to be back, and she's great to have around the team. So super excited about what we have ahead of us.
Well, knock on wood, in less than a week, you guys have a timed sport, so hopefully we'll be able to get out to Legacy Field for 90 minutes. Things will feel normal. Everything else will go away. We can just focus on playing the game that we are also highly anticipating, ready to get back to play, and then we'll just go from there. But it'll be nice to finally get that first game in. Lincoln, thank you for taking the time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck to you and the girls this season.
Thanks so much. Also, I tell you what, I want to throw out Megan Homiley's name. I think she led the team in minutes last year. So we talked about people. Junior Megan Homiley's going to do great. We're going to stay healthy. We're going to have a blast. Josh, thanks for all you're doing. You played a big role in leadership throughout the whole summer and this fall, and you just had your hands full, I'm sure. I know yesterday he contacted me and said, hey, get this date right on the game. You got something wrong. You must have been freaking out about that. So thanks for keeping us in line. So
yep.
thanks for Raven Nation for all the support. We'll have a blast.
Appreciate it. Goodbye.
Thanks, Josh.